This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Gaz, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox newscast. What's going on? This is Colteastwood, and welcome to the X&C Podcast. Hopefully, you can hear me, and you can hear my co-host, Gaz. Hi, Gaz.
Hi. Is it working?
I don't know. We'll find out. I try to act cool, right? But I am super nervous. I'm running things on OBS and a bunch of other stuff, and I got all these buttons pushing. But you hearing us loud and clear? We're excited to be here. There's a lot to talk about, and we've got a new layout. It's pretty much, I wanted to give you the familiar X&C experience with Gaz. We got kind of the same layout, but we got a little nicer quality.
It looks nice. I can see it now. I see it. It looks wicked.
Yeah.
It looks really new and clean.
I'm so excited. I don't even know what to say. As far as everything's working, I'm excited. It just gives us more flexibility. Gaz and I are going to be showing quite a bit of gameplay and be talking about that during the show. But I just wanted to welcome everybody to the X&C Podcast. This is episode 66. Been doing the show for about almost a year and a half, and Gaz has been with me for the very best last few months of it. Gaz, thank you so much. Tell the people how you've been.
I'm good, man. Excited about this show, and everything went smoother than I thought. I thought you'd mess up at least something, but so far so good. But yeah, man, it's good to finally catch up with you. I know you're away with family on a holiday, so we have barely talked, and now we get to talk gaming with all these sexy people. What's up?
Yeah. We got over almost 300 people here checking out the show, and we went to the ocean. We went to Washington Coast, and usually it's pretty cool, overcast. I left my AC on. Hold on. Zing! There we go. Anyway, great weather. Like the perfect opportunity to just relax, unwind, take a step back from all the madness in the gaming news. But I did not. I was dipped in the console war with the Death Stranding thing, which we're going to talk about. Yes, we're going to talk about Saints Row because it's what a landing it's had today. But I wanted to start off by giving a shout out to where's that list? I got the list of the great people who are helping out the show and who's supporting. We got your channel members and patrons. Actually, I usually have this up. There it is. Yes, I want to give a shout out to Brian Harris, Mark Cardwell, KY Bob, Assassin Lupa, Jazzy Noop Box, Ricky Fallon, Stephen Smith, Christine, Maurice Baker, Matt Without Fear, and channel members Matt Burns, William Lanza, Nano Polymeth, Udani Kuzada, Robert Jackson, Lord Starkiller, Dante Moody, Betamax, Dark CMF, Gaz, Vox Storytelling, Wreak Havoc, Faultline, Zenner White, Devario 2 Gaming, The Blue, Poochie, Remix Gaming, V Simcoe, Assassin, Raymond G, Dub, Larry Thatcher, Hargit Chani, TK Chillin, Raiden Blaine, Acute Perspective, True 77, Risky for the Biscuit, and Widya Santaso. So I will get a running ticker of that eventually, but I don't know. It's been great. I'm glad we're here, guys.
I'm good. And likewise. Shout out to everyone in chat. I see all your messages. I'm feeling well. Well, let's go. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Let's just get saucy. Yo, Huggy. See you all.
I actually talked to Udani Kazada right before the show. He actually jumped into an Xbox party chat. He's been dodging me for about a year and a half. So, yeah, we talked for a little bit, and I've been playing Dead Island Riptide, and it's Garbaggio, but that's it's. I mean, I love those games, but let me read a couple supers before we get started. Drawn TJ with the 5 says, "Hi Cole, hi Gaz. What do you guys think about people saying Saints Row is bad?" We'll get right into that after we talk about this new lawsuit. Bit Fernaldi with the $2. Thank you so much. He says, "Execute episode 66."
Oh yeah, is it 66 episodes already? Wow,
it is, bro. It really is.
I was like, yesterday you started the show. Damn. Time goes quick. It's not my birthday. You know when my birthday is. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Your birthday came and went so quick, bro. We're just going to keep celebrating. Gaz, tell us about this lawsuit. This broke in the morning for you in the UK.
I mean, it was kind of new. So it's a class action lawsuit being brought against Sony PlayStation alone, which is I found quite interesting. It was like, well, so obviously the Xbox guys jumped on it, ready to say execute Order 66 against Sony. What is going on? And the wording is quite scathing, so I've got it here in front of me. And obviously, with class action lawsuits, to anyone who's bringing that up, will put their most aggressive foot forward, and the words used are quite inflammatory. So the accusations that it ripped people off with overpriced games and in-game purchases, and reference was made to the 30% commission on every digital game and in-game purchase made through the PlayStation Store, which is, let's be honest, that's what Microsoft charges on Xbox, and I think Nintendo do the same. The only difference is a lot of people were citing the fact that Microsoft actually charges 12%, I think, on the PC Store, but ultimately,
instead of 30,
we know the reason. Yeah, instead of 30. But we know why that's the case. It's the case because Microsoft, the PC is a whole different ball game. Versus Steam, it's matching that, or slightly better maybe. So there's that. But not only that, they're suing for $5 billion. Jeez, Sony can't afford that. Come on, man. But with the class action lawsuits like this, they quantify it based on a number of users. A class action lawsuit for the benefit of all of us, where if, in my opinion, fantastical scenario where this actually successfully sues Sony, how would that work? Would they get a fat refund after the fact? How are damages paid? To me, generally, I think this is a lawsuit that will die pretty quick. It's typical of that kind of exploratory thing. But I will say there are a couple of things to highlight here. One, unlike Xbox, PlayStation's games or digital games, you can't find them at a discount at, say, like Xbox games. You go on Anaconda, you go on CD Keys, you can find digital games for a discount. Sony don't do that. You can't get them. So they've got a monopoly on their digital prices. You're pretty much stuck to the full price of what Sony charges in their store. So you're pretty much going to buy it there. And we know how many percent of sales go on PlayStation are digital? Like 60, 70, 80, something.
80, up to 80. 80, huh?
Up to 80%. So, the only thing that I think that needs to desperately happen, and that's not just Sony, that's Microsoft, that's Nintendo, that's everyone across the board. We desperately need a price correction on digital prices, because it makes no sense why digital games are so high. Based on physical copies, fine, but not fine there.
Just take $5 off. Just take $5 off a digital copy. They know that when you buy it, it stays there. It can't go to the used market. It can't be sold. The key can't be reused. It's a one-time solid purchase that stays on there. Knock $5 off. You're not paying for pressing, printing, cases, retail, shipping,
storage,
export,
distribution. Yeah, yes. All of that. You're saving a lot. So that's exactly. But I will say, in the real world, practically speaking, you do kind of offset that cost with game sharing. Like me and you share games. We're essentially paying 50% if we're sharing. Yeah. It's mostly cult buys again. But yeah, it's like 50%. Like, so there's that. So that's why I guess maybe some people, if you do game share, not everyone game shares. So there's that as well. It's, I don't know. As far as the lawsuit's concerned, I don't see it going anywhere. But the timing of it is impeccable, though. No, in light of all the Brazilian stuff and the FTC starting to warm up to look at the ABK deal, then you've got Sony under the microscope, and then boom, this comes out of nowhere. So I just found the timing funny. I'm not suggesting Microsoft instigated this. But
Shout out to Asa in the chat, who is like the wizard of all podcasts and content creation. He's amazing. He's a good friend. When I was out with my family, it's total side mark, but when I was out with my family, we were out doing this little nature hike, and someone scratched in the tree and watching Asa, and I'm like, oh.
No way.
I wrote plus cult.
No. Was it Asa Akira? Sorry, yeah.
No. Yeah. But back on track, what the people really want to know, Gaz, is this $5 billion lawsuit, is this going to stifle PlayStation from being able to acquire their next studio?
I don't think so. I think it's a PR hit. Is something that they'll be like, "I'll just get the legal team to slap this away." It could be a headache. It's bad press at the most. Damage, in my opinion, other than some logistical headaches of mobilizing a legal team to combat this, is bad press. So perhaps that, but I don't see it going anywhere. Why is Sony isolated here? The same class action lawsuit can be brought up against Microsoft.
Yeah, that's
they charge 30%, so it's not going to go anywhere.
I mean, people sure were hopped up like this was like a big victory for the Xbox, right? Like that's how you.
I mean, just in the console wars, I will use this in a source video, obviously, just despite what I've said here. It's just like your good guy PlayStation image is bad. I mean, to be honest, let's be honest, Cole. This generation, PlayStation's image has taken a battering. It is not. I'm sorry, but it's not pro-consumer. Not if you say for the players, you'll laugh after the fact because of. It's the forefront of $70. Is the forefront of not, what was it called? Free upgrades, smart delivery, not offering things like that. It's been on the forefront of lots of things. Mixed messages, we believe in generations, not using your controller, blah, 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 blah. It just piles on. So the image it's just Sony is probably really conscious of its diminishing image in light of Xbox. That's image generally, notwithstanding the fact there's no games.
Let me read this headline. Let me read this headline to you guys. It came out today about this subject. And then the game is you or the chat is going to tell me who wrote the article, what site wrote the article. Here is the headline: How Xbox and Microsoft became the gamer-friendly company.
Is it Kotaku?
It's who you wouldn't think.
Not Bloomberg. No way is it Bloomberg.
Nope. But you're getting warmer.
Paul Tassie's thing, where is he right for?
I love Paul Tassie. Paul Tassie's awesome. This is a Dual Shockers article that came out today. Or it came out a week ago. Yeah.
Really? Whoever wrote that must have felt the pain. As he typed that in there.
As they're chiseling it in on stone.
Behind him going, I don't want to write this. But yeah.
The other chief's like pinching the back of his neck. Write it. No, but all jokes aside, I have seen a lot of these articles from Dual Shockers where they say, PlayStation's so great, and then they say, man, Xbox is doing these amazing things, and we see this back and forth. Because I think you're right what you said a few minutes ago, that PlayStation is how did you say it? They've taken a hit, their image. Yeah,
PR wise, they've taken a hit. I mean, they've
done so well, right? Like they're killing it themselves. They got great games, but it ain't enough.
But it's not enough. Like how you lead the start of the generation sets the scene. Microsoft did it with TV. That was a legacy that, horribly affected it for the entirety of the gen, despite the course corrections. And the PlayStation is going to suffer the same. The big one was leading out the gate with $70. Yes, the other third-party publishers did it, but Sony did it. Microsoft didn't. Smart delivery upgrades. Microsoft did it. They didn't. Microsoft went above and beyond PR-wise. Sony didn't. And even its own statements about believing in generations. And on top of that, you've got really core PlayStation fans who are royally vexed at games coming to PC. Spider-Man, Death Stranding. Oh my God, they're really annoying even their core fan base. I mean, more fanboys than fan base, but it is. It's just. They're starting to take a pretty massive hit and and the cumulative effect of that is Xbox looks better. So things like this come out, 5 billion to the masses, because Sky News here is big. It's like, someone sees that, PlayStation 5 billion, bloody hell, what's going on there? Like they're ripping people. Look at the articles. Sony PlayStation being sued for 5 billion amid claims it ripped off 9 million consumers.
How much do they pay for Bungie?
Terrible headline. Bro, that's almost double what they paid, 3.7 billion or something like that
right.
for Bungie. So that's a double. So
that's gotta hurt. Like if they end up having to pay out, they're thinking, man, that could be a studio. And that's kind of where people were like, oh crap, maybe this is gonna stop them from getting a studio. Danny Passion Official, thank you for the $2 super. He says Sony needs to be sued for their refund system. Guys, you cannot get a refund. You couldn't even get a refund if Cyberpunk released broken.
Sony's policy has always been archaic with this.
Why?
Just their attitude towards it. It's a night and day difference with Microsoft and Xbox, because Microsoft support, I could be very comfortable getting I once got a refund for a game that I let someone borrow an Xbox One. My ex's roommates did, and they're like, the Romanian guys like, yo, let me play some Xbox. Or hey, take my Xbox for a week. They bought Sniper Elite with my card was saved there. I'm like, had a horrible breakup with my ex, got my Xbox back, thank God. And then I was like, yo, can I get a refund? It's like, oh, you've played this game. I'm like, yeah, but I had a pretty bad breakup. Really? I didn't buy the game. And they're like, fine, don't worry about it. Boom.
Oh, they're for the people.
Feel sorry for me.
and then the next message was, now that she's available.
Yeah. So what are her details exactly?
That reminds me of an old 80s movie where John Cusack, his girlfriend breaks up with him, and everybody, the mailman and everybody comes up and goes, can I date Beth? It's freaking hilarious. But that's totally what's going to happen to you. Well, I mean, I don't know. It was a big hot news item, but I figured you would do a pretty good job of smoothing over like the reality of how that's going to go down. You think maybe they won't have to pay $5 billion; they'll settle for some amount. They'll give out like free DLC for Astro Bot.
Pay for anything. I think the courts will slap it away. I think something similar happened in the US where some other class action lawsuit of this type was brought out and it was just slapped away. So do expect this to go away and not go far. But the bad press is the damage, in my opinion.
Like I will
hope. Yeah.
It's all part of like a picture, right? It kind of fills in all these like little tiles of what PlayStation has been reamed for, right? That's kind of how you look at it. I do the same. Yeah. Shout out to Holly Bree for giving me the Better Off Dead reference. She knew right away. So that's when you know someone has known the classics, the absolute classics. Guys, let's talk about. Well, I don't want to talk about this yet. I think the great people want to talk about Saints Row, but oh boy.
Yeah, well, what did I say? In terms of, I did say I didn't like the. Do these guys look like gangsters to you? They don't look like gangsters. The gameplay looks like, even right now, they're supposed to be gangsters, a bunch of hipsters as gangsters. I just felt like, it's weird. But the game is actually getting poor review, like pretty poor. What's the Metacritic now? Is it like not even 60 or is it
66, 63, depending on, on the PS5 or Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, I mean, what about you? You're the person who has always said, okay, so I know I saw on social media a lot of people looking forward to it and they were a bit disappointed, and some of them were lashing out. They're like, you know what? I'm still gonna enjoy it. I'm like, you just shut up, man. Just enjoy the game. Don't tell us how much you're gonna enjoy the game and be annoyed at us for like, oh, that's another review. But your mantra is listen to your friends, read the reviews, look at Metacritic, and then make your whole mind about it. Ultimately, if you're looking forward to the game, don't let anyone else's opinion affect your opinion, because just play the game. Don't be annoyed at it.
Tony Akami in the chat. Tony Akami in the chat says the characters look like Colt's high school friends. And let me give you another kind of old one, but if you've seen Can't Hardly Wait with Jennifer Love Hewitt and Seth Green's in the movie, and him and his friends like wear big baggy clothes, and he's got like ski goggles on. He's like, "Don't mess with my flavor, yo." That was me in high school. But
oh my god.
Okay, so you said listen to your friends. Now I've been talking to Dealer over the weekend, and he tells me a little bit of stuff before he's ready to review. And today the embargo lifted, so I talked to him quite a bit about it, and he's like, I want to tweet and tell people not to freak out about it because he's really enjoyed it. And he says it isn't as buggy as people make it up to be. You know, people like to grab all the bugs and throw them into 1 4-minute video. But he's really enjoying it. He's like, you don't get sandbox games like this very often. And it doesn't do anything groundbreaking. It's kind of the same. It's kind of the mantra we've had all generation. Like, what has done anything like super groundbreaking this generation? And here's Saints Row, a 63 meta. So
I mean, that's the thing. Does it need to do anything groundbreaking? I would say no. It's a reboot of Saints Row. I mean, if your expectations were in check, you like it thematically, then you just want to switch your brain off co-op, open world game shooting
Blow
game.
up stuff.
I'm sandbox. Then you'll be happy with the Saints Row. So look, just if you're a fan of it, I was a big fan of Saints Row. I'm not a fan of this. I mean, I saw the gameplay. Some bits looked okay, but it didn't scream at me. But the only way I'd have enjoyed it is me and you played co-op. Otherwise, yeah, it's like. So Hibri says, agree with Gaz 100%. I loved Cyberpunk. I didn't care what anyone else thought, and that's fine. Hibri, that's fine. It just means you have taste in games. I'm just kidding.
It's so bad because I went back to Cyberpunk last week and I was like, why did I like this so much? But I don't know. Sometimes you get that. Like, you have a real great time in the moment and you go back and you're like, I wouldn't put this in the Library of Congress or put it in a pod and send it up to space forever. For all eternity, right? But is that really what it's all about? Like, having fun, blowing up stuff, hanging out the car window and shooting bad guys.
Just having dumb fun. That's what Saints Row is about. So people maybe holding their expectations high on everything. And I was like, to me, thematically, the whole approach of the visual thing, those are big things, like the characters' dialogue. I haven't played Watch Dogs Legion for that very reason. I was watching Acer stream Watch Dogs Legions, and it was horrendous dialogue. So it's just like, oh my God, British dialogue, like how patois that is so prevalent in UK and London slang is how we talk. Jamaican culture is so pervasive here, but that execution was so poor and so cringe. I couldn't play it. Saints Row, like that, for me, I find the characters, like the setup, it's just grating, especially in contrast to what I like the old Saints Row, the old gangsters. You got beaten up and initiated in your gang. That's how you do that. I like a little bit more raw, but it seems a bit, but that's not for me. But for other people, you're a fan of this game and you're looking forward to it. Don't let reviewers dampen your hype then, but just go enjoy and play it. Like Colt said, Dealer enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, I want to ask you about the gangbanger thing of 2005 for Saints Row 1. Think back on this, everyone. You got Saints Row. I think it came out in 05 or 06. You got Saints Row. We'll just say 06. Saints Row came out. It was a parody of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas that came out 4 years before it. Like I've said on this show before, in a censored way, the Wendy's drive-through restaurant is called Freckle Bees, the B word, to make fun of the red-haired lady that's the mascot. And you've got the Rim Jobs place where you set up your car and customize it. Now it's called Jim Robs, right? So some of the stuff from 10 or 15 years ago, it's like, doesn't fly, or are we just I don't even know if I can even get into that conversation. Are we too darn sensitive? Like, you always talk about Dave Chappelle and how the world's changed around.
I think
Brad says I said
is.
gangbangers. I mean, yeah, that's what they used to call them back in the day. That's what they were supposed to be. Saints Row in 2005 or 06 was supposed to be a callback of the gangster life of like the early 90s. In Southern California, like that whole thing, right? It's a joke. Yeah. They're wearing purple. Yeah. They have it's ridiculous. But go ahead.
I like that. Purple's a nice color. I love purple. Yeah, it's a regal. That's why purple was so associated with monarchy. It was a hard color to recreate.
Crown Royal.
So it's like feeling royalty. But yeah, look, just enjoy the game like it is. I mean, I love the humor. I guess. The whole premise of it, I think we talked about this show last week or the week before. It's trying to pull in new gamers, but it's so unashamedly obvious in its execution. This disclaimer, I haven't played it, but apparent execution that I just doesn't warm up to me, and I just don't want to sound like an old dinosaur who's just crying about the fact that the Saints Row's now getting woke or whatever, just new gen. But it's like, meh. That's the world we live in.
It's $60 and I'm going to play it. And I'll just say, as far as anyone saying backlog, honestly, my backlog sucks. That's why I'm not using it. I'm not playing my backlog. I ditched those games for a reason. And I'm sure there's some gems in there, but every time I launch it, I launch these different games. I'm like, I don't know. I just don't. But I'm excited about new shiny Saints Row. They're excited is a relative word, but we game share, so you'll get to play it on my wallet. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Cole. Sponsored by Colteastwood.
Let's move forward. So the Saudi Arabia regulators approved the Activision Blizzard King deal. Gaz, what does this mean for I feel like I'm interviewing you right now. Hi, Gaz. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? Yalla,
Hey,
Habibi, to ask me about Saudi Arabia.
I've got this new layout for those of you who just joined us, and shout out to 600 people who are here. Hit the like button if you're having a good time. But in the background, I had the swirling lines that were kind of animated, and I realized those are in 4K. They're tanking my camera. So I was kind of like, so yeah, it's little stuff I'll figure out along the way. So thanks for bearing with us here as we figure out X and C. But what does this mean, guys? Saudi Arabia has approved it. Does it mean the rest of the world's just going to fall in line like dominoes?
I don't think so. So Saudi Arabia, of course, they would approve it. They've actually got a personal stake in this going through. If I remember correctly, they bet for the deal to go through. So they have a personal stake of that's a given they were going to do it. But I mean, Saudi Arabia is a force. It's more the FTC more than anyone, and no one else is really going to stick their oar in my opinion, other than the FTC. Because that's their manifesto now. So, yeah, it's not a big deal, but I did see people saying, "Yeah, Saudi Arabia, yalla, Habibi." No,
BBC Wildin. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay. Shout out to you guys recognize Saudi finally. But it's just like, I don't think it makes a big difference. It's just, again, public optics, all of that. It does make a difference. It does count. So I'm not saying it's inconsequential, but Habibi's passed it, and maybe that will send a message to everyone else. Like, all right, let's go for it. But they have a personal stake there, so let's see.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I just wonder if they approved it, that some of the work's done for us, but they're all different countries, and there's all kinds of weird stuff going on. I love how everybody's like, somebody actually took a picture of Phil, Gaz, and put the headdress. What do you call it? The Arabic head thing on Phil. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we doing?
I'm surprised I didn't come up with that. That's actually a sick idea.
What we need to do is, there's a GIF that says Habibis Be Wildin', and these guys that are jumping over, they're hopping over a 3-wheeler. Yeah,
they are crazy. They are actually the most heartwarming, the most generous, most like you. If you go to the country, they'll say, "Come stay." And when they say stay at my place, they will mean it. But there for 3 weeks, they want you to stay. But they're also crazy. Have you seen some of the stunts the Saudis do? They're mad. I don't know why I'm talking about this. But, one thing I will say on the topic of Saudi Arabia, because I'm Muslim, a lot of Muslim people and Arabs reach out to me and say, "Gaz, it's really nice to see a Muslim on the show. And it's nice that you see your friendship with Cole, like just bridging things in a world that's quite fragmented. So it's nice. But one thing they say about Xbox and Saudi Arabia is that they're saying Microsoft makes no attempt whatsoever to push Xbox like it should in those regions.
I hear that a lot.
They said if they pushed Xbox Game Pass, most Saudi gamers are on PC because most of them they'll pirate it or whatever. It's not like Saudis don't have money, but it's just the environment in the Middle East, Asia, like the pricing and the dollar conversion. They'll just play on PC. But Xbox Game Pass, marketed properly in Saudi, would do a lot better. So I don't know what Microsoft is saying. And every Arab guy I talk to says this. They always say this. They say that it's just Microsoft's marketing is poor. They don't even try here. So I don't understand. You're trying in Japan so hard. Why not Saudi? That's a big market. Look, man, Arabs and us Muslim guys, we don't. Well, I party a lot, but over there, about the halal habibis, they just game hard, man. They hardcore game. They chill, like family, sedentary life. They play games. Market it there. You're not doing Saudi justice, in my opinion. But you'll see a lot of people say that. What do you think of Sharia law? This is not a political podcast, Matt. What do I think of Sharia law? Yes, good. Cut their hands off. No, there's more nuance to it. But it's not for the show.
Are there some countries around the world that don't get the console push, even with PlayStation and Nintendo, or is it an Xbox problem?
No, it's an Xbox problem. Nintendo is something slightly different. That's a good way to frame it. PlayStation is always there. Which is funny because Arabs, as you know, you'll call it PlayStation because they pronounce their P's as B's. But like Xbox wouldn't have that problem. Well, maybe. But yeah, they don't push it there. Xbox needs to do it because a lot of the market in Saudi, it's so funny because Saudi's big push for online gamers, man. They are the Counter-Strike players. They will warm up the likes of Halos and Gears and PvP games. Just Microsoft doesn't push it. Not strong enough. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
Well, they approved the deal, so I guess what are you going to do? That's the good news for today, I suppose. Brad Ward Fight with the Canadian $5 says Saints Row is $20 more on digital in Canada. Why? Same happened with Biomutant. Freaking Embracer, he says. Oh gosh,
it's everyone. It's everyone. But yes, Embracer. Watch out for them. I'm sure you'll talk about.
I know
them.
you did a good video last week. We talked about how they're sneaking in. We'll bring that up here in a little bit. Meat Puppet, who's been a member for 4 months, puts up a couple emojis: a truck, eyes, and hands. It's cool. Yeah, thank you. Tech Money with a $5 super. Thank you. Tech Money says Sony doesn't offer their games digitally at retail, Walmart, Amazon, or GameStop. Nintendo and Microsoft does, and this suit will just force them to do so digitally. Like the digital cards for a specific game. I mean, they sell the cards for the PlayStation's network store, so you can put money on and buy. I think I did that. I've done that once for PlayStation. It's kind of a pain. Gerald Mack with the $5. Thank you, Gerald. He's got the Xbox hat on. He says, Xbox's forward thinking is starting to show in real time, and the opposite is showing for their competition. Yep. You know what, PlayStation? Let people refund your games and, be a little more consumer friendly. You know what? Just put your back compat for free if you own the game. Do something called entitlement. The rest of the industry does it. Look into it. Yudana Kizada, who's been a member of the channel for 32 months, which is long enough to birth how many babies? 8?
What's that?
9, 32, 4, 3, 4 babies? I don't know. Metacritic. That's great math. Metacritic, he says, Metacritic seems below my beloved Crackdown 3 for Saints Row reboot. He says, Agents of Mayhem is better than Saints. Yeah. Have you played Agents of Mayhem?
Nah, I didn't. It looks very,
it's at first it's really good, and then it just gets on your nerves. I really wanted to like it. Char AM with a £5 super chat says, came to say you both create a very welcoming community. As I'm in the UK, I usually catch up, but love listening to you on the go. Keep it up, guys. Thank you. The UK,
absolutely.
You know a little bit about that.
Goggle posed like, Gaz, that's not true. They're aggressively pushing Game Pass. Then ask the Saudis. I'm not saying Game Pass isn't in Saudi Arabia. I'm saying they're not marketing it enough. That's the point. It's like market Xbox.
I get those DMs. People are like, Colt, tell Phil to market in Saudi Arabia. I'm like,
you get them as well? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, Phil. Stop messaging me. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a conversation. You've been in party chats and them lot with these guys, with Phil and them lot. So you could something to mention, or in meeting you've met him. So it's like, yo, what are you guys doing in Saudi? Do you want me to be there? I'll do it.
Get in the chat with him and say, it'd be really cool. Picture this: Fortnite, but it's with shoes. Pargy Chani with the $5 says, one of these days, Colteastwood, I'll get you to play Yakuza. I keep loading up Yakuza. And then, little sparks go off in my brain, and I'm like, "Oh, look over there!" And then I walk away.
Yeah, I'm like you as well. I'm playing Fortnite now. It's like crazy.
Yeah,
I slept on Fortnite, by the way. I slept on Fortnite until what's up, Timmy? I bought the Goku and Vegeta skins, because I'm an absolute slut for microtransactions, and then I played Fortnite, no build mode. Oh my god, that game is so good. By the way, I slept on. I played Season 0 when it first came out, the Battle Royale, and me and my friend played it quite a bit, and then we stopped. So it's like, okay, fine. I bought skins then, even though they're rubbish. Now, if you, Colt, please download it. It's like Ready Player One. You know, see the movie? You see the Ready Player One?
Yeah.
It's like entering. It's like it shouldn't work, but it does. I go into the game. I've got Darth Vader there, and he's dancing. I've got Master Chief doing some running weird.
Oh, my son's Mandalorian. He looks like he's the Mandalorian right out of the show.
Yeah, you got ASAP Ferg, hard rap as well. Like playing, people could do that. Then I'm here with Goku and all of this, and it's like,
And Goku
weird.
looks
It's like-
legit, like right out of the show.
Yeah, he does. But he's got a massive hitbox. But it's like, oh man, it's like what Ready Player One is supposed to be. Fortnite is just, and the game is so much fun. I was just playing on my own doing solos, and I wanted.
Have you done this?
but-
You've got the spider slingers you can pick up, where you can go around the map like you're Spider-Man until that runs
And
out.
it works so well. That's so well.
Yeah.
That grappling thing I tried, like the mechanic is so. There's so many different things that happen. Like first I was like, it's how you do a live service game. It's like there's so much content there. It's like so
Let's
nice.
tell the people, because like Void Rat said, it's that Fortnite's dog crap.
Nah.
I got to tell you something. I don't play Fortnite. I'll play like a match or two with my son once in a while, and when I play it, I'm like, this game is quality. And you can see why people get hooked, because they provide the content. The mechanics are solid. The world
solid.
and the gameplay loop is great. And
it's so
it's great.
smooth.
It looks
Everything
good.
looks so well. It looks good. Even the events look good. I was playing today, and there's a massive tornado came out. Everything is flipping. All the physics. It's basically
is it better than
on
Battlefield
your engine as well.
2042?
100%. 100%. Like, they don't mess around. You're right, Capono. They don't mess around. Like, beer skin as well. I've got that as well. That's what I'm using.
When you got lightning in a bottle, you gotta like really harvest it and do well with it. And what they've done with that game over the past 5 years or whatever it's been, it's crazy. It is crazy.
Execution. 343. Look at those guys. That is done so well. Like, that's the stat. Now I get it. I feel like such an old dinosaur, having like just kind of mocked it, even saw some, but it was so much fun. I was playing with my cousins abroad, and it's just like everything is so much easier as well. Dropping in, I could hear them in the game as they were playing. I joined their lobby, and we could talk while they were in mid game. Like even features, like basic features, like that's quite advanced. Lot there. Really good game.
We start
really
a match and my son starts dancing to Dua Lipa. Like it like hits a button and starts. Yeah, it's quality stuff. I don't know. It's not for me all the time, but I tip the cap. I tip the cap. Now is the time in the show, Gaz, where we're going to talk about new upcoming games, some leak stuff, and what to expect. When you thought 2022 was a little rocky, there is some cool stuff coming. We're going to talk about it right now. We've got over 700 people here on the XOC podcast. I'm the host, Gaz, and this is my co-host, Colteastwood. How'd you like how I messed that up? I actually seriously messed that up. Hold on, let me see. Let me look at my wallet. You know, I'm Colteastwood, and I'm here with Gaz. And we have the show on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts after the fact. So that'll be up, and it might be up a little later than normal with a new format. Trying to iron out things, but hit the like button, please, if you're having a good time. I think the chat has it transparent on your phone. Show your support. Let's get up to 500 likes. Got over 700 people, so I think we can get that accomplished. Guys, let's talk about the first new game, which is Blizzard's, not an MMO. Thank goodness. For me, anyway. But this new Project Odyssey, and I'm going to do a quote that is directly from Jez Corden's discussion on Xbox 2, which is Randall Thor's podcast, but he got more information about Blizzard's new game, and I think it might be something you're all interested in. He says, Odyssey will not be a survival MMO. These are the words of Jez Corden as reported on The Verge, I think it was. Anyway, Odyssey will not be a survival MMO. No, it's more similar to Ark Survival Evolved, which is pretty clearly noted. The first thing is that the game has an emphasis on alchemy-based machines, almost steampunk-like, set in fairy tale aesthetics. Secondly, there's elements like Fallout 76. Now, first of all, there's a couple red flags for me when you say Ark Survival and Fallout 76, right? But secondly, there's elements like Fallout 76 and adds to the potion shops. Virtually anything you craft, you can pass off and sell to other players within the game world. So, what the heck is this Odyssey survival game?
I think it sounds cool. I think it's amazing. Like Ark Survival Evolved, I really like. I want to get into it. It's my game. It's my kind of like PvP, like survival kind of game. But this game says it's not survivor based. It's not a survival MMO, but it's similar to Ark.
I got to add something that I didn't write from the quote. I think I missed it when I was pasting in here, because when I read this stuff, I want it to be word for word, so there's no translation errors. But Jez said that it is not tied to World of Warcraft or Overwatch or Diablo. It's its own new IP, which is kind of evident in the steampunk thing. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, that I'm kind of glad, because they're exploring beyond that universe. Otherwise, I'd feel a little bit cop out. Let them try something fresh. But steampunk based with alchemy based sounds really nice. It's not a survival MMO. I'd like to see MMO RPGs that console first. More of that. We never saw that. Really, like they should have. I'm really shocked. That the fact that we haven't seen MMO RPGs on consoles, a console-centric one. So there's that sad, like, in my thing. But generally, yeah, I mean, anything Blizzard touches, pretty dang. So this could be something really good. Drunk Jez on Xbox 2 getting in trouble by blurting it out. Who is this source? How does he get this information? But yeah,
I mean, he
really
digs into the filing cabinets, and leaves a little note behind, and it's been the stuff that Jez's report on has materialized and will materialize. So people listen, and that's one of the draws that Randall Thor is really lucky. People love to hear Randall Thor's takes and opinions, and then they got Jez there, who's gonna have one or two mini vodkas or whatever he has, and then get excited and talk about stuff. So. You know what it makes me? It sort of sounds like they're describing what we would think Everwild might be.
I was thinking that as well. Like they're thinking about Everwild, like set in fairy tale aesthetics, and getting a bit of Fable vibes. It's more the alchemy-based machines that kind of make it a little bit different. I'm quite intrigued to see that. Alchemy-based machines reminds me of the League of Legends animation series on Netflix. Amazing, by the way. It was really good. Forgot what it's called. Someone in chat will know. But
it starts with a V. It's like a word like Valorant or something like that. But yeah, somebody will say it. The League of Legends TV show.
Yeah, it's really good, by the way. Also, watch Sandman. Very good. But yeah.
I was playing Skyrim recently. I was bouncing back to a lot of different things. I'm like, I need something to hold me over for about 2 or 3 weeks. And one of the things I was playing was Skyrim, and you go to the alchemy station. And when I used to play the game, I would go and look for an item that I could craft, but I didn't realize you could go to your ingredients list and click a combination of 3 random things, and you'll learn and create the potion. And I don't know what it is when you do that. Like in games, when I think about this alchemy station for Project Odyssey, like when you hear like the the mortar and pestle thing, whatever it's called, I think that's what it's called, where they, tap down the thing and scrape it, and they click, and it fizzes, and you create a potion, you get XP, like all that stuff's like, serotonin. So, and I know that Blizzard is really good at giving you a great looking, great feeling, great world, and you got the reward system going, and you get the blood juice going, and I don't know, I'm looking forward to it.
Blood juice.
The blood juice.
That's another one. There's another game that could be huge. Like when Sony's working on their 10 live service games, this is a game that most likely will be exclusive to Xbox and PC, because it won't be subject to it. It will be. Because
I hate you, chat.
I'll tell you right now. What's that?
I hate the chat. Dave says Varcane. The show's called Arcane. I said it starts with a V. Varcane. Brought to you by the Vexin C Vodcast. Yeah. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, that's really what I was saying. It just looks like a lot of potential.
Speaking of blood juices, guys, did you hear that Ubisoft had to come out and admit that some leak was completely untrue about a game they were working on?
Oh, Blade. They're not making a Blade game, which is good. Thank God. My first thing was it was like Blade. But then it's like Ubisoft. Then they said it's cancelled. I was like, but then I was like, no Blade game. So it's like hot and cold, up and down. But it's really weird. I mean, when does a company come out their way to say, oh no, these rumors are not true, we're not working on Blade?
Lately, we've seen a little bit of this, haven't we? Where the companies just have to say, whoa, we're not making Crackdown 9.
Yeah.
Or we're not making,
I don't
Blade.
know. I don't know why they said that and put that to bed. Because ultimately, why?
I do. So not I was gonna say apparently. So what happened is, Warner Brothers, I think, Studios is working with the Ubisoft studio in-house to create a fully in-engine world to put in the show, to have the actors superimposed or whatever placed in.
Oh.
And so they need Ubisoft and their engine and their developers and their studio and all those assets to create this world, this virtual world that the show will be put in, or the movie or whatever.
And they're partnering with Ubisoft for that?
They've contracted with Ubisoft. We need your team, your studio, you know, everything. Hey, can you do this? What do you price it for a contract? And so you get people like the little squirrel insiders, or little people who are, you know, trying to, you got like Special Nick, you know, people who are trying to like dig into this information. They did, like, people like Clobril find stuff by looking at LinkedIn. Like, they scour LinkedIn and they look for keywords, and somebody somewhere, not Clobril, somebody somewhere saw something that Ubisoft was working on, something related to Blade. And then they said, oh, they're making a game. And Ubisoft says, no, we're not. We're making Skull and Bones.
It's coming out soon.
I mean, why are you so scared if they're making Blade? I mean, I think it's worth saying out loud.
Just because I don't have much faith in Ubisoft executing something that beyond their tried and tested formula of Ubisoftness. I want a game from Ubisoft to come out, and they did allude to that they were trying to fundamentally change that, but no game is showing that. So what I want from Ubisoft is to say, look, we get it. We don't want a map littered with icons. You don't want this formulaic tasking of quests. You want something fresh, something different. And that's what my worry with Blade is. What is a good Blade game? Good Blade game is a ultra linear, ultra violent, stylish hack and slash Max Payne kind of game. It
sounds like a Capcom game, like Devil May Cry rooted, like third person.
Devil May Cry is a great one. Obviously slower in pace, but more. Yeah, I mean, a Blade game. Blade is so good, man. Well, the old movies were so good. So much potential for a Blade game that could be good. Like, there's so many games like that, like The Punisher. Blade could be one of them. It'd just be epic. So, but I don't think Ubisoft is that studio that has the creative muscles to push something like that. I mean, what's the last creative game that Ubisoft pulled that you thought, wow?
Can I stand up for Ubisoft for a second? I'll be the other side of the discussion, because I really like Ubisoft's games, a lot of them, and I am well aware that they execute really well on visuals, and maybe they put a little too much extra bloat. I generally enjoy a lot of their games. Sean Labrie in the chat says he just wants another Rayman. Like, the Rayman series was legendary, but it is really tough to give a studio like Ubisoft, who's big enough to take a beloved franchise and possibly, you know, kick it into the corner and mess it up. You know, it's got to be tough to take on something like that. But Palpatine in the chat says AC Origins, like the newer Assassin's Creed games are really well done, but if you kind of reskin that into Blade, I don't know if it's the right thing. What studio would you put on Blade, guys, before we move on to the next game?
That's an excellent question. I would put Naughty Dog. Yeah.
No, I mean to have everybody play it, not just 5 million.
Sauce.
No, that's terrible, because their last big
Rockstar.
one was 10 million.
I would get Rockstar. They did Max Payne 3. They could make Blade be epic.
Keep Remedy away from it. You know, they just announced it. They just announced today that they're making Alan Wake 2, and I'm like, why? You already told us this. Like, it was a big tweet today.
I retweeted. I was like, oh wow. Then I'm thinking, wait, hold on. As soon as I tweeted that, I'm like, I swear this was. Then I thought maybe it's my stupid brain. I forget things pretty quickly. Then some people replied, because didn't we already know this? And I was like, oh, it's not just me. I'm pretty
know
sure
that Special Nick already talked about Alan Wake 2 like 6 months ago on his show. He's in the chat right now. No, Special Nick says Naughty Dog on Blade. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I laugh at your idea there, guys.
Special Nick, I laugh at your predictions and your insider source who's out to get you. Shut your head.
You know what, guys? I'm going to bring Nick on. He's going to replace you as the co-host, because he's way more handsome. He's way more handsome. Now, I don't know.
That's it.
So no Blade game. So I guess people do kind of have a sigh of relief because we could name a bunch of studios and everyone would say, yeah, I mean, I could say Capcom and you say they'd probably mess it up, or you could say, I'm trying to think of who was really good with melee style combat, but let's see. Monolith, AJ says. Monolith would be great. I'm so curious to see what Wonder Woman's going to be like, but we're going to try something new on the show, or something semi-new here, semi-nude. We're going to show some gameplay while Gaz and I talk, and hopefully everything runs smooth. But
magic.
This is
where it all goes from.
The magic of technology, science. So,
is that a British accent? Because that's terrible.
Oh shoot, that didn't work. Well, that's not going to work. Why aren't you on there?
Who, me? What?
Yeah, like you should be on here. I don't have you turned off. Well, that sucks.
What happened? I can't see it.
Yeah, you'll see it in a second. For some reason, your feed is not on there, and to mess with it, I'd have to get away from where we are right now. I wanted to show this gameplay. Gosh dang it. And I already, I went through all the work to get this all set up. See, I'm putting it up again here. Discord Gaz. Oh, you're tiny. Here you are. Watch. In real time, I'll bring in Gaz. And he's upside down. Oh, that's hilarious. Transform. Is there a rotate 90 degrees, 180 degrees? There we go. I am so sorry. You know what? But this is what's going to happen. This is a new setup.
That's fine.
We will learn things as we go. But Evil West just got announced. It was going to be a September 2022 release date. We talked about it on the show.
You love this game. You really like this game. As soon as you saw the trailer came out, you called me, Guys, have you seen this Evil West game? It looks cool. And then it got delayed, and you're like, no. This is one of 1 trillion games that got delayed this year. But
yeah, and I think I have around 8 minutes of footage. I spent a good amount of time editing some footage for the show so we could kind of be more dynamic and talk about this stuff. But there are some striking similarities between Devil May Cry, and it's a good time to talk about that as we talked about Blade. This is the team that made Shadow Warrior 3. Oh man, this is like I'm trying to think of it. Yeah.
They made Shadow Warrior 3. Yeah, which I haven't played yet.
Okay.
I haven't played it because you guys were like, it's okay. It's how you describe it as it's like Doom Eternal, but not as good.
It's Doom Eternal. This is so bad. I don't like down talking studios, but it feels like Doom Eternal made by like 3 people instead of 200 or 300. Anyway, I mean, you can check it out. I finished the whole game and I enjoyed it. But like when you do the glory kills, which are very much like Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, they are so stilted and the animations are so bad you almost go as you're playing. But a very fun game. But this is Flying Wild Hog, and this is
there's a
very
weird pyramid underneath. It looks nice, man. It looks nice. The combat looks like punchy, and these locales look weird. I thought it was all Western. Now he's going to some weird place with. Just looks like a wild, wacky game. Looks like there's a lot of potential. Yeah, it's one of those games you instantly like. Yeah, this is going to be fun to play. Which I also thought of Shadow Warrior 3.
Western thing, and there's at the very end of this clip, there's a little cut scene, and I swear it's like Colteastwood and Gaz with a eye patch on. When I saw it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's us, the dynamic duo of ridiculousness. But this game,
I like this new UI, man. It's so clean, man. It's nice to see the gameplay like that. So you've done a good job, bruh. You make this all yourself. It's crazy.
Well, thankfully, it's running fairly smooth.
It looks sick on my screen. It looks quality is nice.
When I first started doing the show, my internet speed was like half of what it is now, and I had some bottlenecks in the wiring. It's been crazy. But thank you, everybody, for being here. We have almost 800 people. Hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. We're going to talk about these new games and what's being announced for Gamescom and what's probably coming really, really soon, the next like couple months or 6 months. But this is Evil West by Flying Wild Hog, like Gaz and I are talking about, and you'll see some crazy similarities to God of War 2018, like some rip-off stuff. Yeah, you'll see when he interacts with the treasure chests and stuff. I think you'll see it after this little boss fight. But, it's this classic, like, puts you in a circle, makes you fight a boss with a big health bar and stuff. So not a
What
lot
I
of
noticed
people
with this
talk
boss
about
fight,
this.
it kind of clocked all the moves. Like, it's basically learning the moves that boss already learned all his moves in the space of a few seconds. And Elden Ring kind of spoiled us there because that's the beauty of it. Every enemy has some variety of attacks. It's really hard to predict, but you can, obviously, after spending a period of time. But that kind of shows the difference between From Software with that kind of Soulsborne stuff and other studios. So that's one thing I was like immediately a little bit concerning, is that not concerning,
Watch
but
this.
just like,
Watch this.
oh, here we go. Here's your treasure.
There's even one where he punches down into the treasure just like Kratos. I'm like, oh gosh. But yeah, chat, what do you think? I mean, there's a few minutes of gameplay here, but is this something you
should put a poll up?
Like, is this something you would be interested in? It's probably a $60 game, and it looks like it's coming November, like after God of War Ragnarok. Bless their souls, right? So
yeah, exactly. Good luck with that. Yeah, they should be after, not before. Because come out now. This when is it coming out now? So they say when?
It was coming out in September, and they moved it to like November 20th or something. I recently looked at the tweet, and I don't remember the date. I know they
should have done it in September. That's
well, they
I guess
were,
the game's
but they needed
ready.
more time.
Yeah.
They needed more time.
Yeah. It's going to hurt the sales, I think, tremendously, because everyone's going to be talking about God of War.
Look at you see you'll see it here in a second because I'm looking at the live.
Here we go.
Yeah, the live stream, but you've got that. Oh, you saw him punch the chest. Yeah, I was looking at the other overlays. I kind of try to manage the show, but the gunplay looks really cool, and I don't know. It's just one of those games that we complain about the year. The year's been so weird. Like a lot of big games didn't hit really. The shock move is cool. But
it's a good chance to catch up to your backlog. I know you don't because you play a lot. Everyone says about Colt and Dealer. You guys play a lot of titles, so they're very different. Whereas I have a backlog that's disgusting because I play multiplayer games so much. I'm playing Fortnite COD again. It's like, when am I going to play that with this massive sense of guilt? Then I was got my Steam Deck playing Max Payne, not Max Payne, Mad Max 3 because you guys told me to play it. Then I'm starting to play them. You know what?
You just said Mad Max 3. Max Payne 3? Yeah.
No, Mad Max. Mad Max
game from Avalanche.
Yeah,
Mad
Max.
That game's great.
I was playing on Steam Deck, then I was like, you know what? I should play on my PC so I can capture the footage and possible replay video. That's the thing with the content creation. You're always thinking of, like, I should be recording this. So, this game looks good. Let's see. What's next, Cole?
Let me read a couple supers here. We got Havoc. Thank you so much for the $2 super. He says 700 plus people watching, under 300 likes. Come on, man. Come on. Red Wolf with the $10 says, this weekend I got hired to do my first celebrity video shoot with Walker Hayes and Flo Rida. It was an amazing experience because I got to meet them both. It was our first big celeb meet, and how did it go? Wow. So you shoot on video for companies. I'd love to hear what gear you're using. I actually used to be a videographer back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and crazy times. You get to be up close to some really cool people. And
that's wicked. You need to tell us more because I need to learn more about camera, cinematography, and lighting. Oh,
man, I've worked for contractors where they throw a big camera on your shoulder and they put a pack on your shorts, and my shorts like almost falling down, and they send you on down to I've done shots for boxing match at a casino. I've done boat races like hydroplanes, and you get right there while they're interviewing all the big racers that are like nationally known. And then I've been right there in the Mariners locker room at post show while they're interviewing like the big ball players, and like it's just so cool. So Red Wolf, awesome you get to do that. Like you get to be in.
Right, well, who's he with? Who's Red Wolf with? Can you read that again?
He just said who he got hired to go shoot Walker Hayes and Flo Rida, a celeb video shoot. That is so cool.
That's mad.
Ice Reaper Frost with the two. Where are we at on the gameplay? I don't want to jump ahead too much. Oh, there's you're gonna see the shot of Kaz and I.
Oh, there we go.
I gotta pause it. How do I pause this? I think if I go right here. Okay, we'll hold it right there. It'll catch up for you guys in a second.
They're on there.
It's going to be on the next game here. Ice Reaper Frost with the $2. Thank you so much, Ice Reaper. He says Rocksteady should do Yes, yeah, Rocksteady could do it. They still got to make that Suicide Squad, Gaz. Suicide Squad.
Oh, that looks amazing. Yeah, I really want to see that.
Meat Puppet 007, thank you so much for the $5. He says, Gamescom, our show will only be 30 minutes today because everything got delayed to 2023 or 2024. And he's got the laughing, crying emoji. Let me see if I got anything else. So one of the things that came, which is on the screen here, one of the things that came to pass with Gamescom, and Jeff Keighley's going to do his opening night live show before Gamescom, which I think if you're in North America runs at like 10 in the morning on the West Coast or something like that tomorrow. And one of these things that leaked is Amazon leaked Dead Island, which we talked about last week, but I grabbed some gameplay from the previous build and I cut it up. It was 20 minutes of gameplay, cut up to about 8 minutes, and it is ridiculous. We're going to watch it and talk about this game for just a moment because what's the word besides ridiculous? It's just ridiculous.
Donkulous.
So, this game has been in development hell. It was, like I said last week, it was supposed to be out in 2014 in spring. So it is coming up, supposed to be releasing in the spring of 2023, which puts it 9 years behind schedule of its actual release date. And so you have 3 areas in California you could choose from: Malibu, San Francisco area, and Hollywood area, or whatever, right? The animations are bad. Like, they're so bad.
This looks this is like, isn't this 2 gens old? When did this come out? Last gen? It came out last
This will be
year?
a cross-gen game in 2023, and I think what's going to happen is we're going to see a real review or reveal from Dambusters, the team. Let me reset, guys. The game was started by Sumo Digital, the team that made Crackdown 3.
Oh, great.
They pushed it on. They pushed it on to Jaeger Studio, the team that made Spec Ops: The Line. Deep Silver did not like the way Jaeger Studio was going with it, and they fired them. And they brought on Dambusters Studio that made Homefront: The Revolution. Oh my gosh! And now this video might get demonetized as well. And I thought, why not give this a try and see if YouTube does not like Dead Island 2 footage. Like, it automatically flags it. It does not like the up close and personal evisceration of human beings.
They're not humans.
I've made probably 10 or 12 Dead Island related videos on my channel, and half of them have been demonetized and manually reviewed and demonetized. So,
why did you take the risk of these?
I just wanted to see what would happen because I thought I would like to report on this if they have a reveal tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure we will get one. And this would be a good opportunity to see if I would be wasting my time building a production video with this included. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's a good show. Okay. Yeah.
And I know that's stuff that a general audience doesn't care about, but when I sit down to make a video about Gamescom, I'm going to be spending 6 to 8 hours building it, and I don't want to put all that time in, and they're just like, nope, you don't get compensated for your time. So anyway, Justy Spud says Homefront. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Homefront: The Revolution is pretty bad, but there's some really goofy I'm glad I think the gameplay is running fairly smoothly on here.
It is.
Which I'm pretty happy.
Doesn't make the game look any good better though, but it is running smoothly. Just seems so clunky. It's just not that much fun to play.
So while I was cutting this footage up, I kept hearing your voice in my head, thinking guys and I are going to be talking about this, and I pictured you going, "Oh, some of this looks dank. Some of this looks like kind of fun," and I haven't heard you say that yet.
Oh, it looks dank.
Look at the guy he can't even drive the car. The controller's so bad.
I know, it's probably the dev playing it as well, and it's like, oh my god, we need to fix the controls of this game. And it looks like he's driving on ice, but it's actually sand. That looks horrendous. It makes the Mako look like it's a bloody McLaren F1. Like, what the hell? I mean, this is an old game. It's a bit harsh, but this is an example of what the second game needs to. So it's kind of good to look at this and then compare it when we do see the game reveal, because obviously not a lot of people are going to go back and see Dead Island 1. So it's good to see that. So there's a lot there. So look, just from this, you can glean that animations need to improve. Like the gunplay is quite like even right now, you've got the shotgun out there.
Yeah.
It's just a bit stiff. Driving mechanics need to change. I mean, visually it was not so bad, but
have
obviously
you noticed that,
that
the zombies like have almost no reaction to getting hit, or they just
stuff
disappear?
Like
and there's a lot of spawns like right behind your back calf. When he turns around, there's a zombie like just showed up on the sand, and
yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, a game like this should inspire fear, like loads of them running at you, stuff like that when they see it. But I don't know. It just seems like a really hollow game. Yeah, you can see the animations are really stilted. So yeah, let's see what Dying Light 2 is about. I mean, Dead Island 2 is about. Dying Light 2 is
I do that too. When I would make videos, I would call it Dying Light. I would call it Dying Light 2, Dead Island. Like there's one that was spawned out of the concrete, and the dual wielding looks fun.
Yeah, I mean it does. Yeah, it does. But like just shot him in the head and just stopped. So there's a lot there to fix. Oh my god, it's really janky in almost every single encounter.
I think look at this.
The guy he twisted the guy's head, and the gun was stuck to his hand. What?
Yeah.
The game is
there's
broken.
also,
I never played it.
There's also like things that say placeholder, and there's these green ramps and walls that are like supposed to be polygons where they'll put something later on. It's really bad, but I'm pretty sure this is Dambuster's build from about 2 years ago, and they were having testers try out the game, and a few people recorded their gameplay and threw it to YouTube, but almost no one has seen this footage, and it doesn't.
Dead time goes dead on arrival too. No, hopefully they've learned their lessons. What? The guy just exploded. Yeah, I mean, what I think is a bit concerning is the game is just suddenly just ready. Is it going to be a big? Could surprise us. I'm so intrigued now. I'm glad you brought it up today. So let's get to see
I think we're going to see it tomorrow. And one of the other reasons, it's funny, the PC cursor is on the screen the whole time for this guy's captured gameplay. But I think one of the cool things for me, like, I don't care how bad this game is. I'm probably still going to buy it and just camp, just campy as all get out. But I think we're going to see a really improved showing tomorrow. And I'm interested to see how, like, for anybody who's watching here, hit the like button if you're having a good time, if you're enjoying these. Look at how these characters are just have like one texture over them. They have like a red and gray texture over them. They don't have an outfit or anything. They're just like mannequins. These are the humans. I'm interested to see how people say, hey, I watched Colt and Gaz talk about Dead Island last night, and what we saw today was really, really cool. Like give somebody a really crappy plate of pasta and then give them some nice food afterwards and say, how was that, huh? You like it? Yeah.
That's a weird analogy. Yeah, I don't know, man. This let's see. But
it's almost over here. It's almost over here. I think... I had that footage for Lies of P, which I probably won't play again.
That's such a good game. Yeah,
but
that is a good looking game.
There's a rumor that Lies of P will be shown at the Gamescom on behalf of Xbox tomorrow or the next day or whenever Xbox has their presentation period for that. But the snitch on this big guy you're about to see here, I am having such a hard time thinking while I watch this footage. It just completely destroys my ability to have a regular thought in my head.
How many hit points come out of the body? They're like every pellet has released a stat off the body. If you look, he's going to shoot him with a shotgun. You're going to see like 50. Well, if he does shoot, this guy is obviously not vegan.
I'll pause my footage here for a second.
There you go. You can see like 50 values come out for every pellet hitting the body. No one wants to know that. Just give us one.
And have you noticed how bad that I've got some of the screen is covered, but the UI is horribly cluttered. I mean, you've got some PC spec numbers, like some performance numbers up on the like CPU draw on the right, but they're pausing for the next one. But it's just really, I don't know. It'll see some improvements, but. Yeah. Before we talk about Lies of P, we got to talk about RedFall because they had a sit-down conversation about RedFall. Did you get a chance to watch the Arcane team talk about what you'll be doing with RedFall?
Zorka did a good video just kind of summarizing how deep.
Did you actually watch it?
No, I didn't. I was just like, how much? I scrubbed through it and I was like, new footage? Nah, I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. I should really have watched it because apparently there were a lot of details came out of there. But what did you glean from it? Did you watch it?
I watched it one of the mornings on vacation, so I was kind of trying to. I wasn't in like creation mode to try and retain everything, but one of the takeaways is that one area of the map is bigger than the whole entire map of Prey, the game in 2017, and that kind of ticked off some people. Like, more is not better.
That's true. I agree with that. I agree with that. I think how dense is going to be a game world like that. That to me doesn't say that much, other than the fact that it makes me sometimes. I immediately get a little bit concerned about things like that because there's like vast game. How much of that is going to be densely populated or meaningful content?
Yeah.
So they compared it with the stations, isn't it? Space station and Prey, and they were like, this could fit. This is like one size of a football field or something, and I'm like, show me meaningful use of that space.
That was like a headline for the day from everybody, biggest world they've ever done, and it's bigger, better, and all that stuff. They talked about the characters and the different builds you could do, how you could play as Jacob the sniper, and your friend could be the same character, but you could have totally different builds. One could have the Raven go out and scout, the other one could be set on cloaking or whatever. But
yeah,
it does look really good. I wonder why Xbox has these opportunities to talk about their games, but they're just so afraid to ask the team to record a little bit of extra footage. Like, you're sitting down to Gamescom, you sent your team or you sent presentation out, and you can't have your team record like maybe 2 minutes and cut the best 45 seconds, have something new to show.
That's why I was surprised. I mean, Redfall isn't a game that you'd spoil by showing a little bit more gameplay for, because that game, it's not like Starfield. Starfield, you want to hold your cards close to the chest. Don't want to show a bit too much to kind of lose the kind of appeal of it or the surprise of it. With Redfall, it's not a game. They showed a lot in the gameplay footage at the Xbox Game Showcase event, so I don't see why you'd show us a lot more of these different, unique, contrasting character builds for the same character. Show us all of that. Show us how big the world is.
Can I? I'm going to share a tweet with you that happened today. I want to get your and everyone else's take on this. Today, this is off topic. Well, on topic what you're talking about, but today, Forza Motorsport tweeted, and they've been very active lately. They've been putting tweets up, like they've been putting posts up and talking about the franchise like a couple times a week. And normally they've been pretty much dormant. I think they're ramping up and getting ready to talk about Forza Motorsport, but they've been sharing old stuff. And today they put out a post 6 hours ago that said, which of these hot hatches is your favorite and why? And it's just a screenshot of a Volkswagen Golf, a Ford Fusion, and a Honda Civic. Okay. And it says in the corner, Forza Motorsport 7. So they grabbed a screenshot from Forza Motorsport 7 and said, let's get some community engagement and let's get people to talk about cars. Let's talk about hot hatches. And they made this tweet. And I'm like, why? Your game is coming out in like 6 months, right? Or maybe 9 months, right? And you already showed 12 or 8 minutes of full footage, like inside the game. So where are your posts? Why don't you have a post from in-engine of the new? Like, can you imagine if they tweeted out, which of these hot hatches is your favorite and why? And it was a shot from Forza Motorsport that's coming in 2023. Yeah,
I think with Forza, they should definitely do that. They should get people to start talking about that now. Build the hype now.
Wouldn't you?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've already shown the game. It looks really impressive.
What are you
show
afraid
us the
of?
Car models. Yeah, what are you afraid of? I'm like, show us there should be no Forza Motorsport 7 stuff. That's just a bit weird to me.
There's just a little bit more to the story, okay? So I replied immediately, like 20 minutes after the post was done, to Forza Motorsport. I said this, and I hope my tone comes across okay, but I said, tomorrow, let's try a post like this using a screenshot that your talented devs framed in the new game and engine. And I got 37 likes. But that was my nice way of saying, you're doing this community engagement. Just show us something new, right? Forza Motorsport replied to me and said, let us know if you see it! ! What does that mean? I said, tomorrow, let's do a post like this using a screenshot that your talented devs framed in the new game and engine. And their response to me was, let us know if you see it.
What?
What does that mean?
I have no idea what that means. How does that mean? I'm trying to find you a tweet.
Here, I'll send it to you. That's weird. Let's see.
Subliminal messaging. Oh, here's the hot hatch. I see it. And I see it. Let us know if you see it. Left-hand drive. What?
Yeah, let us know if you see it.
Tomorrow's Let's Try a post like this using a screenshot that you're telling in the new game and and engine. Let us know if you see it.
Does that mean, like, yeah, we're going to do that and let us know when you see that we do that? Is that what they're saying? Or am I just like looking for something that's hopefully there?
And the Zinc in chat goes, Colteastwood, ask the same question for Sony and God of War Ragnarok. Why? Why? Why does he need to ask that? You Xbot is so stupid.
Other Zinc, come here.
Slap him.
Listen. Sony Santa Monica has shown several minutes of God of War Ragnarok and several screenshots. So is Forza Motorsport. And yeah, I really feel like most developers, almost all of them, are afraid to show stuff because we are so. I'm looking at how close I look on that camera. That is hideous. I think we are so horrible to developers, and they're showing their games. Like I said, I would never go on to a band's Twitter and go, I can't stand that song. It sucks.
He's so defensive because ask God of War that. Colteastwood is an Xbox-centric content creator. Why did you jump straight to God of War? God of War is a single-player game. You can hold the cards close to the chest. Don't want spoilers. Why a car racing game? God's sake, I gave you the example of Starfield. Oh my God, this guy. It's too green. There's too export. Too much. He just leaves paragraphs on my videos. Tell me about Halo. I'm gonna read my review of Halo for this. We need some real
You know what my friend would say? Skipping all that, my friend would say, we weren't talking about PlayStation. That's the end. You don't entertain the comment because we weren't talking about PlayStation. True. And Turn 10 of all studios has nothing to be worried about. Their games look fantastic. So they could put up a screenshot tomorrow and say, which muscle car is your favorite? And then a logo at the top that says Forza Motorsport, the new logo. And people are like, holy crap. It would blow up. And they wouldn't have to give anything away. They wouldn't have to give out, well, maybe like the track. Holy crap. Is that I can't remember. I can't think of a track name, But anyway.
What do you mean? Nürburgring.
Yeah, I was going to say Nürburgring. I was going to say the Lost Marina or whatever it's called, but I can't remember the name of it. I'm flustered. Anyway, people will always glean something out of a picture, but just put something up. Like, you can do it. But that's way off topic. Way off topic. We were talking about RedFall. Yeah, why can't they just show more gameplay? So I don't think there was a whole lot of, like, I didn't see any like video-worthy information to come out of the RedFall discussion. We could show the footage while I'm talking about that. Boop, and then it starts over. That's all right. That's all right. Look at that. I'm right back there just like that. So
nice.
I'm doing what I can, Like when I watch the Go Live show, Asa is like...
Asa's
he's amazing.
Geez.
So, RedFall looks very cool, and I'm getting a little more Borderlands-esque vibes from the 4-player setup you got going here. And now you'll be seeing where I got right to the gameplay. But what are you expecting, RedFall? Give me your thoughts here, Gaz. What do you think it's going to be like?
I think when the initial gameplay reveal came out, that everyone was pleasantly surprised. It looks really polished. It looks quite interesting. Thank God it's not zombies. Vampires are interesting. Character skill set is quite good. It's a lot more deeper than I thought. I mean, it's not massively deep like an RPG, but it's got character, open world. Like it's one that's quite different. Just having it this kind of game as an open world game, drop in co-op. Can play a single players also. You win that way, although there are some problems with the co-op element of your we talked about this before. Your progress doesn't carry forward if you join someone else's game. But generally, though, in terms of gunplay, looks really solid. Powers look good. Graphically looks nice. It's not screaming next gen, but it's still quite nice. And it just generally looks like a really polished, good game. So
it looks more sharp than most of Arcane's games that always have that watercolor type
the solid
look.
Kind of
it's not so stylized, but one thing they did talk about in this interview was that I like how you kind of caught that, Gaz, how it's not like a bunch of zombies. You're not fighting off a bunch of zombies. You have to place your shots and use your powers because you're not getting killed, but you're not getting attacked by 100 of them, right? But they said these vampires are people that were they did this medical team was trying to figure out this medicinal thing, and they happened upon this really horrible concoction, and they turned them into zombies. And it said that they're not just vampires. They're not just vampires. That they're in the process of becoming exalted to the ultimate, like Nosferatu. And I don't know. Wow. I'm not like an expert on the vampire thing, but they're in the process of becoming these elite beings and elite life forms that are better than humans. They're more powerful. And then another thing that they do is these vampires are trying to be the most beautiful and well-dressed creatures in RedFall.
That's cool. That's quite nice.
Cool. So they feel like they've become they've found true beauty and power, and they dress. They're very egotistical.
We should learn to cut their nails then, because that guy had massive nails. So, but maybe vampires have a different fashion sense. They've gone all gothic with and maybe need to see a dentist. But that's cool.
And then on the other hand, you've got the human faction. I can't remember what they're called, like the Blood Gulch or something. And they've been studying all about what's going on with the vampires, and they want to become them, but the vampires don't want anything to do with them. So they've made their own encampments where the humans are inferior. They're the superior faction, and they want to join in the ranks of the vampires, even though they're not wanted. So they're very violent, and so they're the ones who have the firearms and the Molotovs that are coming after you. So you have to tend with the vampires and then lots of human enemies, kind of like you did in Dying Light, where there's like the human factions that are jerks. Like, we're all trying to survive, right? And then you have these humans who are just being, like bandits. So, the other part that they've talked about, which I showed briefly here a second ago, or you've seen it right now, is where the vampires have created this blood world where you go into this hypnosis, like this, I don't know what you'd call it. Like, you're just like, when you take mushrooms, what's it called?
You're tripping out.
You're tripping out, and your world and their world like starts combined. So when you go in the theater, there's grass there, and you're actually walking into the world that's on the silver screen. So the game is a lot more than people are ready to give it credit for, I suppose.
I think generally, though, a lot of people have clocked onto the fact that this game does look a lot more than your typical shooter zombie killer. Because the polish speaks for itself, and with gameplay footage they did show a lot of wide diversity of special abilities that look really good. The guy freezing it, taking it like whatever, just turning them into stone. You've got the chick that everyone's going to play with the umbrella, Layla, Layla, and then you've got that sequence where you go into the other level, and that's really good. So I'm very pleasantly surprised. I was very pleasantly surprised, and it's good to see. Was it Arcane Austin that made this?
Yeah, this is the main Arcane team, and you're seeing a second of Lies of P here, which I don't know if we'll get to. We talked about it last week, but and then Gaz and I will be back to this. But Redfall looks really good, and it's going to be a chance for Arcane to make something new. I'm glad finally we're
Something
getting something
different
new.
as well, because I think Prey and Dishonored were very close to each other, weren't they? You complete both.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, they were a couple of years apart, and they had that stylistic look to them. Prey's amazing. I love it way more than Dishonored.
I got
but
lost in Prey, so it's like,
you haven't finished it.
No, because I don't like using guides, and I felt I was just lost in the space station. I was just like, it was becoming so long. I hate that kind of loss. I should play it, but yeah, no, this looks very different. They're challenging themselves to do something very different, and it looks really good. So the studio seems to be very well talented. Let's see the final judgment when the game comes out. But,
yeah. I think we could expect it by about March. Some people said February. If I was Redfall, I would hold out and just these publishers. Even though they're in-house publishers, guys, I really think that they don't care about what games are coming out. They just want that payment that filters through the fiscal year when it lands. And I think that's why you see a lot of games get pushed, and they push into February because they want to hit a deadline to reach. Because the publishers shelled out all this money for the development years ago, and they're like, I want my money back. And if the game isn't released, I don't get money. And then the developers say the game's not ready, and if it comes out bad, you're not going to get paid as much. And because that's where they get paid. And that takes us into our next discussion. And it's the $70 games and the inflation argument. Guys, lead us into this. You got mad at me when I got in this discussion. You're like, Colt, who cares? Let's just get some games. But
I've already talked about it. I promised everyone on my show on Saturday I wouldn't talk about it again. And here you are asking me about $17 games. Look, if people who don't frequent Twitter, that topic has been doing the rounds. You have one camp who's defending it, saying inflation and the game industry isn't. Why do you treat it differently? Everything else has seen a price hike. And then the other argument is, well, no, Microsoft's not doing it. Why are we capping for price hikes when they're not justified? You do it.
Let me
drinking?
Let me
that Mountain Dew. Look at that.
Yeah, this is how the vampires were built in Redfall. They're just drinking all this sugar. Let me just take the discussion into one direction, then we'll move forward.
Go for it.
And I kind of started off when I talked about the developers and the publishers getting paid. Can you answer this, guys? When they hike the price up $10 to $70, do the developers get paid more?
As far as I'm aware, and every studio is different, but no, generally the publisher will pocket the money. They're making record profits. That doesn't 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty sure developers don't get any cut of it. Maybe you could see it as a long term. The publisher could say, well, actually, these profits enable us to sustain better salaries in the future. So, yeah, maybe it does. And that's why.
I guess it could. I mean, if they're making record profits, does the studio say, oh, we're working with 505 Games. They're publishing our game, and they're making a little bit more because they're charging $70. So the next time we make our game, because they already got paid, the next game, maybe they'll give us so much that the studio heads will say, like, you have to think about how it trickles down. 505 Games funds the project. They give the money to the studio. The studio says, okay, we have enough money to work 5 years on a game. And all of those developers are on hourly or salary range, on union agreements. They can't say, hey, PlayStation charges $70 now, so we all get a $2 an hour raise, or
that doesn't happen. That doesn't work that way. You'll have the most I've seen is with, I think it was Cyberpunk, where they paid a bonus to all staff, and I don't think that was based on sales anyway, but they paid so it's the trickle down thing is a nonsense. It doesn't happen that way, but publishers will style it out and say in the future it helps us. Obviously, if you make more money, you should really be, and your staff are working hard and churning out great performing games and great quality games, they should be compensated. But that argument just falls flat on its face. Generally, we don't have that data to back up to show us that, and we've had publishers come on our show say that.
There are milestones. There are milestones where if they reach a certain sales milestone in the agreement, that the bonuses, like the chat's saying, you're saying, bonuses can be put back after the fact. And you're talking about, you could work on a game for 5 years, and a year later or 2 years later, it reaches a milestone, you get a bonus check. I guess it is kind of asinine.
Unlikely. Yeah.
Let me read a couple supers here. We got Havoc with the $5 super. Thank you, Havoc. He says, AJ asks Colt how old he was. Then Colt says, how do you pause? Sometimes I wish I could pause life as I get older and older. Red Wolf with the $5 super says, I use an R6 mirrorless Canon 4K 60 with a DJI SR2 Ronin gimbal. Oh, dang.
Ooh, I got the RS2 gimbal as well.
That's nice. That thing is nice looking. Yeah, no, I don't use Canon anymore. I was using a Panasonic 4K, but he says, I'd love to do video edits, etc. for you guys if you have something fun in between work. Video production is that's so amazing, but it's so tiresome. Just a click, right?
Long.
But
it's just detail, minutia.
Yep. Just little micro edits and little Gaz dancing around and wiggling his tongue. It's amazing. Havoc with another one. Thank you for the $2. He says, Perfect Dark needs to be amazing. And I put a lot of thought into this. And Crystal Dynamics is fantastic. And the team behind the initiative is really great. Gaz, is it going to be amazing?
I can't even say. Don't even put me on that pedestal. I'm not saying I have no faith, but I have concerns. I love Crystal Dynamics. They churn out incredible quality games. I'm just thinking what the initiative had done with the design phase. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping it'll be good. I'm not saying it's going to be terrible. It's just, if it's delayed, I think it's slower paced development. Nothing sounds good, but I'm not confident. That doesn't mean I'm thinking it's going to be terrible. I just not brimming with confidence or excitement for it, but I'm excited for the prospect of what a good Perfect Dark game should be. But if it's scaled down, then
scaled down. Well, I don't have a love for Perfect Dark. I messed around with the one recently, and I'm like, I didn't grow up with it, so I don't have an affinity for Perfect Dark. But
I think think about what they're achieving, Mirror's Edge style, like body count, like that movement. I love that. More games need to do that. Dual wielding and all this, and just the potential could be good. So I'm just a bit cautiously.
You know what? There's a few studios, and maybe we'll talk about it in another show, but there's a few studios where I have big reservations from Xbox about how they're going to deliver a game or if they're going to nail it. And like Turn 10 and Playground and Coalition, of course, I don't have any reservations. I know they do a great job, but I know Crystal Dynamics work, and even Avengers had great moments and looked great. If you just got into the straight regular linear missions, right? So I can say that I'm not concerned about Perfect Dark. I think it's going to surprise me. And I'm pretty happy with it.
I hope so too. I
like
really
you and I talked behind the scenes to somebody who said we couldn't repeat stuff about the way the game feels and looks, and said a couple buzzword things. We're like, oh, that's dank.
Was it special, Nick? Because all that stuff is wrong anyway.
That face. Yeah, that face. I do that face. If you're watching, if you're listening to the show after the fact, audio only, Gaz made that joke, and then I just went stone face angry for a moment, and then I got over it. But we got Daniel Patolia with a CLP 3900 super chat. Thank you. He says, guys, check out Multiplat. I'm going to test something here. You sent me a message. I'm going to make sure that it doesn't happen to show up on YouTube. It shouldn't. But anyway, gosh dang it, guys. Okay. Daniel says, guys, check out a Multiplat coming February 14th called Wanted Dead. And Gaz, thanks for the video on Max Payne 3, going for my second playthrough now. Great show, guys.
Oh, wow. Oh, thank you.
Wanted Dead. I'm going to look that up. Hit the like button if you're having a good time on the show. Highlander, who's been a member for 3 months, says the problem for all game developers is that players want instant gratification. Players do not want to wait. 2023 will be fire for all gamers.
In fact, actually, that's the problem. It's like on 2022 is really quiet, and then 2023 is fully stacked, like mad stacked.
Mm-hmm.
All these delays are causing it to be like, how are you going to play these games, man? Which is a good problem to have, but also like a backlog is already a perpetual issue for gamers now. But 2023, like with Forza, Diablo, you've got so much. You're going to have Starfield coming out, and then you've got all these games releasing. Am I really going to play Evil West? And I have a feeling Thingy Protocol, Callisto Protocol is going to be delayed as well.
I don't.
I hope
I
not.
don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I think. Well, we're supposed to see Callisto Protocol tomorrow or this week at Gamescom. I think Callisto Protocol is just going to go gold and make it by December. But I've said that before. I actually think the rest of 2022 is actually pretty good. That's been like past 2 or 3 months have been really rough. Like you said, Evil West, God of War Ragnarok, Saints Row, if you give a crap, Gotham Knights. I mean, I don't even know.
Gotham Knights could go either way. But yeah.
High on Life is still making it this year. Just it's been ridiculous. See, what's the next one? Swindiferous with the $2 super chat says he's got another one in a Jamaican accent. I don't even want to try it.
Try it.
But I have to get into character. I'm like, no, you'll laugh at me if I do it because I'm super, super white. It's not fair.
Yes, Wagwan, did you fix that mic? I'm not saying the other word because that's a swear word. I was going to watch you say it.
He said Bumblebee. He said Bumblebee, Mike.
Bumblebee, Mike.
Oh my gosh. Havoc, thank you so much for the $5 super. He says, give me an update on Monolith. No One Lives Forever. That game was so slept on, and I've never even heard of it. What is it, guys?
What game is he talking about?
No One Lives Forever by Monolith. And he's dead silent. I don't know.
No One Lives Forever. Wait. No One Lives Forever. Is that spy game? Oh, that was an incredible game. You were absolutely right. Yeah, it was that spy game. It was like bloody Perfect Dark Zero before Perfect Dark Zero. It was an incredible game. Good shout to you. Sick game. I played it on PlayStation 2.
It's got like a 60s, what do you call it? Psychedelic vibe going on?
Yeah, and it was really good.
Hold on, I'm going to the video.
Really
I'm going to the gameplay. Oh my gosh, the graphics are horrid. Oh my gosh, it looks like...
Time Splitters.
It looks like it looks like Time Splitters meets Perfect Dark meets We Happy Few meets Doom. Yeah. Like old Wolfenstein.
It was a really cool game. It was
what
really
the
good
heck?
Yeah, it was such a good game. I remember playing that. It was like, yeah. I didn't Google it. I played it. I played No One's Life. I had to search with the game to see if it's the game I played. It was really good. Really good. I had a chipped PlayStation, so I had pretty much every PlayStation game. Really good game.
Havoc didn't like that I said I'm super white. Now he wants me to do that Jamaican impression. It's not happening. I need to go in the back room and practice for several hours before I try and do that.
Still get it wrong.
Because it kills me when Gaz laughs. It hurts my heart.
I'm not Jamaican. I used to work for Jamaicans, man. They used to make fun of my Jamaican accent all the time. They're just like, you can't do it. Just shut up, Gaz.
My very first boss was from Jamaica, and he taught me how to sweep properly because I grabbed the broom. He's like, you're going to poke someone's eye out, except he said with his heavy accent. And he showed me how to hold a broom properly. And like, somebody has to actually show this young 16-year-old kid how to actually sweep a floor. But, look where I made it. I made it this far.
I worked for a Jamaican law firm. And then what I didn't realize was you had white Jamaicans. So I had these Jamaicans come over from our Jamaican branch and they were white. And this guy talks a thick Jamaican accent, and I thought he was taking the mic. I'm like, you're being racist right now. And it's like, oh, wait. My mate's like, yeah, he's Jamaican. I was like, but he's white. He goes, yeah, there's white people in Jamaica, and they sound like that. I was just like, okay, that was a bit of a shock. Thick, and I mean thick Jamaican accent. I was just like, yo, that was a bit of a shock. I need to go to Jamaica. Next year.
This is the best part about being in this community. Like when you're in a community where you're all connected online and being on these shows or having a channel where I talk to people from all different parts of the world, because you can grow up in a place where you're around like one or two different types of people from two different parts of the world, and that's it. Like you don't get to experience other types of people and be around them, and made friends with so many different types of people. I learned so much about culture. It could be even the smallest thing. A year ago, I didn't even know what biryani is, right? And
I told him.
It's just crazy.
That's what I love about this community. Just the melting pot. In London, it's quite like that. It's quite mixed anyway. But in gaming, it just takes you beyond borders, and that's what I genuinely love about gaming and this community. It's just amazing. And I'm not just saying that just to be nice. It's amazing. No, that's one of the main things at the top I love about this community, man. It's just people from all over.
AV for the win, or FTW, says the best Jamaican accent I ever heard was the guy from GTA 4. And like, I always, whenever you say that swear word, the Jamaican swear word, like I always think about that character because you do like 30 missions with him. Jacob, his name's Jacob, I think.
Jacob, I think it was Jacob. No, but he was so good. I love that guy. That's old, man. That's old school. It just brought my memories. That's the only good thing about that game. But yeah. Oh, man.
Highlander with $5. Thank you, Highlander. Says, my 10-year-old daughter wants to kill zombies in Call of Duty Outbreak with my friends. Guess she wants to move on from Peppa Pig and Paw Patrol.
I say let her play it. Who cares?
Yeah. Zombies is all right. It's pretty tame. The other day, my kids wanted to play Watch Dogs 2 because when they were younger, I let them play Watch Dogs 1 because they would just drive around and get out of the car and jump in this car and stuff. But, the language is really bad. So they loaded up Watch Dogs 2 and they came in immediately. Bless my kids' hearts. And they're like, Dad, how do we turn off the swearing? And I'm like, you can't. And I used to say for a long time when my kids were really little, they'd be in the room and I couldn't play games with the sound on. You just can't. And I'm like, why can't the developer just work in a filter where you can turn that off and on? But I actually learned that most of the world does not give a flying crap about language. So, right?
Yeah.
But so they changed it to like French or something. And I'm like, well, you're going to learn some new words, I suppose. But yeah, anyway.
French words. That's so sweet of them, though. That's very sweet.
Oui, Watch Dogs 2. Yeah. But
I
don't know. So you talked about Embracer. It's like buying up the world, and they're getting Lord of the Rings. What does this mean for Xbox players? Because when we hear about Embracer and gobbling up the world, what does it mean for us as Xbox fans?
Not much, really. Probably a good thing. They bought the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit IP as well, so that means they can do movies and games. And obviously, Embracer being primarily a game company, there's a lot to explore there. So I think genuinely should be exciting. It should be exciting because Embracer are multi-platform. They may license it out. They might entertain timed exclusives as well because Lord of the Rings is still a pretty big property. So, but other than that, I think you can just expect them to be multi-platform. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't remember what studios they have. You put up a graphic that everybody shared around before that just shows this huge pie that Embracer owns. They've owned most stuff, but do you remember what major studios they have?
Oh man, there's so many. I've got it here on Twitter as well. Volition is one of them. Yeah, but one of the things I was quite to give you perspective actually about if you look at this pie chart, Embracer has a big chunk of the pie, but there are loads of smaller. Aspyr, you've got Volition, you've got
who made Saints Row.
Yeah, and it's such badly. This is so tinily rendered. There's like 3 pixels in this picture. But one thing I found out was, try and find it. But one thing I found interesting is, in total, all these studios, 250 games in development across all these studios. Their staff is 12,500-ish. How many staff they have? ABK has 10,000.
I don't know any of these.
Yeah, a lot
There's
of these
one that's Kaiko or Keiko that someone told me today that was working on a game, and I said, I can't remember which one we were talking about, but Embracer owns them. I've never heard of them before. Asper, I don't remember what they've made, but a lot of these aren't big names. I'm trying to look for some that if I said out loud, you guys would go, oh yeah, like Coffee Stain has made some little like AA games that didn't hit very well.
A lot of them are AA studios.
Yeah.
Deep Silver, that's the one I was trying to say, yeah. That's the bigger ones. But they're all AA, and in totality, that's 12,000.
Oh, Dambusters is in here, the team that's making Dead Island 2. Interesting. Which makes sense because it's within Deep Silver.
Yeah.
Gearbox is in there, of course.
Yeah.
Another one, Gaz. Flying Wild Hog that makes Evil West is owned by Embracer. And everybody gets upset about Embracer, but isn't it true, Gaz, that Embracer is going to buy a studio and you'll still get the game? Like, what's the
that's
problem?
why no one cares. Perhaps that's why the FTC won't care, and that's why it doesn't scream monopoly. Also, 12,500 in total, which is a lot, but it's still only 2,500 more than ABK alone. That's how big Activision Blizzard King is. 10,000 plus staff of that deal, and you've got the whole of Embracer at 12,500 ish staff members. So, kind of perspective. I wouldn't worry too much about it. What does it mean for Xbox players? You'll probably play the games, and it could be positive. You'll see they'll obviously buy these studios. They've got now bloody Square. What's it called? Not Square Enix. They've got Eidos. They've got Crystal Dynamics. All these mad studios can churn out Lord of the Rings and do it justice. Positive. Think positive. A lot of people, gut reaction was like, oh, well, Xbox is not monopoly. I'm like, yeah, I mean, fine, but FTC doesn't see it.
I wish I could put this up on screen. I guess I could if I wanted to go around and figure out how to put this up here. It just wouldn't land very well on the layout if I just think about it. But if you look at Microsoft's pie, they have about an eighth of the pie on here, but most of their studios are pretty big.
Yeah.
You look at High Moon and Activision, Blizzard, Ninja Theory, Bethesda, Mojang, Activision, Turn 10, Rare, id.
This is assuming if ABK goes through, then it adds a big chunk to it. Once ABK is done, man, Xbox doesn't need more studios. I'm sorry. People are so spoiled, in my opinion. But let's see. Let's see what it says. But I think that'll be enough, more than enough. Let's just manage these studios, just churn out the games. The games are already announced for Xbox have so much potential. So let's see. But that's Embracer. Yeah. Don't know if we can talk about that more.
No. I mean, I would just be curious to see who would make the Lord of the Rings game or what type of game, because there's a lot of Lord of the Rings games that came out over the past 15 years, and some of them are like strategy games. I've bought a couple of them. Back in the day, they used to have like the cinematic games that were based on the movies that looked really cool. But they were on the Xbox original. Trey Bone 408, thank you for the $2 super, says Blade Yuri 5 done by
id.
By id. Remake Wizards and Warriors. So id is currently working on a brand new game. They've said that as much. Finally, because you and I were speculating, like, what are they going to do with Quake? Like, what is next for Quake? Like, they've done Doom. Like, is it time? They did Rage, right? They commissioned Rage, and what are they working on, Gaz? What's your guess?
Oh man, well, they didn't say it's a brand new IP, did they? They just said it's a brand new game. I'm obviously biased because Quake was one of my most Quake 3 Arena was one of my most played games. I still believe in the arena shooter. I definitely believe in today's age where a lot of that competitive hardcore shooter has gone away. But if you can bring that back and modernize it, I hope id Software could bring back Quake in a meaningful way. Focus on things like traversal, like Respawn did, and things like that. Mm-hmm. But with id Software, like if it's not their legacy games, are they going to work on something new? It's very exciting for me. id Software spiritually are like one of the top studios for me. I'm very they're one of my number one studios of all time because they delivered Quake 3 Arena. alone, that was amazing. But they were really talented. Even Rage, I was playing when I was in party chat with you and Dealer, and I was like, yo, this game is actually a really good and fun game.
Rage 2?
But I felt like, yeah, Rage 2,
Rage 2 is very fun, yeah.
But I feel like id Software.
You know who made that? Who made Rage 2?
Who?
The team that's making Contraband.
Oh, really?
So that's promising. The team that made Mad Max and made
Contraband,
Rage.
I forgot about that game, by the way.
Contraband's supposed to be a third-person
heist game, isn't it?
4-player heist game set in the 70s.
That could be really
in the Mediterranean area or whatever. Or in like a...
Yeah.
I can't remember, something like that. I said... I totally blasted the word archipelago.
Archipelago. Oh, no.
Archipelago. Yeah, I think I like blasted through the word really quick. Because when I got to it on the script, I'm like, oh, I should look this up. And I just said it. Archipelago.
Archipelago. Oh, I can't think of. I was completely butchering both of us.
It reminds me of when I did an Elder Scrolls 6 video. Like some of the leaks and information, I named off these 2 locations in the Elder Scrolls universe, and people were so mad. You said that so wrong, and I'm like, well, they were so mad. Yeah. They're like, how dare you mispronounce the goobly doobly or whatever. That's so funny.
Man.
But I'm just tired of waiting. I don't know. Like you said in your video a month ago, you said publicly, it's time for Xbox to step up and be ready and deliver this generation. And I'm tired of waiting for the games. And honestly, I've played games for the past 12 years, 18 years. Yeah, the past 18 years, like nonstop, since I came back to gaming from when I was younger, right? What I'm getting at is I've literally run into the first time when I've just really felt like I didn't have anything to play. And I go back and I look at my library and I'm like, I don't want to play that, or I'm not enjoying replaying this, right? So it is time, and I think we're so close with God of War Ragnarok coming out, and Evil West, and High on Life, and Gotham Knights, and Saints Row. I don't know. What about you guys? What are you looking forward to in the near future?
I mean, okay, these are good games, but I will call them Game Pass fodder. That's to annoy you, everyone. No, but I think these are great games. They're fun. Just a couple of weekends. It's not going to stick with me. The only thing that this year that's going to release that I think really leave impression is God of War Ragnarok. Other than that, next year, I want to see some of the big heavy hitters as well. And not to say I don't like, I mean, some of the indie games, and Returnal, for instance, was one of my favorite games this year, this gen. But what I want to see Xbox really, next E3 has to be an stellar show. We need to see gameplay for all these games, Fable, Avowed, and Elder Scroll. So it sounds like I'm being very critical because Xbox has faltered quite badly in this summer showcase. But I'd rather they falter now in this very early stage of the gen, where it's pretty. I mean, Sony's games. Like, I know I'm a bit biased, but God of War Ragnarok, big game. But I'm not. I can't even be asked to play bloody Horizon Forbidden West, and I've bought the game. It's like I can't be. Yeah, just like I'm playing Elden Ring, which I haven't even completed, but it's just like I can't. That formula's gone stale on me. Like it got stale last gen anyway, and I'm just like, I can't. Okay, good. Maybe
it's so weird. I went back a week and a half ago and I was playing Horizon Forbidden West. I picked up where I left off when Elden Ring launched, and I was like, I just did this. Everything. I guess you could say that. You could sort of feel that way if you play Gears, but I feel like Gears 5 changed a little bit of the formula up enough where I was really felt like it was a fresh experience in a lot of ways. But Horizon Forbidden West really feels like just a continuation. I wouldn't call it an expansion or DLC. It just feels like you picked up where you left off, and then you do that in a sequel. But I'm like, I just did this. I just jumped, leaped around, and avoided this, electric crocodile. I just did this stuff, 4 years ago, and I don't like that feeling.
I don't. It's Sony's formula is to me getting stale. I mean, my personal taste, apart from God of War, and that's the one that I'm really looking forward to, because God of War 2018 I thought was brilliant. Of course, Goggle thought it was boring, and here's he telling me I'm trying to make the ponies happy. Jesus. But no, it's coming. Modern Warfare 2, sorry, thank you for whoever in chat. That one I'm really excited for. I'm definitely taking time for that. Campaign's going to be looking incredible. We saw some teaser. And we're going to have the multiplayer, so I'm really looking forward to. I'm a big Modern Warfare guy. So for me, that actually is going to be a pretty big game. I might use my
I'm really looking
leave.
forward to you like wiping the floor with everybody who plays against you.
Shut up. I'm so terrible. I've been playing that and I've been okay, but I'm so old now. I don't have the skill set for that. But that game, Modern Warfare 2, that's a big one. That's a very big one. For me personally, that's a huge one, actually.
There's 4 months left. 4 months left of the year, and there are probably 4 or 5 games that will hopefully keep me entertained through most of that. And Jeff Keighley announced that he's got the Game Awards on December 8th, I think it is. Is the date.
He did.
And Miles Dompierre said, "That's my birthday, Jeff. What are you getting me?"
December 8th. Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yep.
No, but yeah, I mean, do you think we'll see Hellblade again? It's now set in Iceland and another part of Iceland. No, I don't know, man. I think the next time they show Hellblade, they need to have a release and announce a release date. But don't do it if you can't commit to that date. So it's like...
I'm so frustrated. Yeah, I mean, it was 2019 they showed it, and it looked incredible. And then we've got a year ago, we got that gameplay reveal, and it's like you can't show proper gameplay combat. I don't know. Tired of waiting.
I think it'll be good. It has to be. I'm tired of waiting as well because they show it so early and you keep you waiting, then it kind of loses the appeal. This is one of the reasons why they don't show gameplay too early. But with Hellblade, it needs to get a release date soon. I think.
Well, don't get it twisted. Like Xbox showing games ahead of time, that's a new thing that they've just recently done. Like this is not something they've often done. It's something very new, and a couple of times it's already come back to bite them. So I hear people say, I'm tired of Xbox showing stuff so early. It's like, you're tired of them doing that like 2 years ago? Like, this is a new problem that they're dealing with. And, of course, the past 2 years have been ridiculous. But, Gaz, what are your plans for the coming week? What do you have in the works? Tell the fun people.
Gamescom is happening. And, unfortunately, I was planning to go, but I'm in Malta because my friend decided to pick the day of the bloody game. Well, actually, Gamescom doesn't look like it's going to be that big anyway. So, I doubt I'm missing much. But who knows? But yeah, so I'm away on a holiday. Well, I say holiday, but a week in Malta. Then I'm back. So I'll miss XNC next Monday. Sorry, people. But yeah. And then, I'm just been playing. I'll just carry on playing. I'm taking my Steam Deck. I think you can get Xbox Game Pass installed there. So I might try that out. See how good Cloud is as well on that. But yeah, that's all I'm doing really. Just working on a few videos, hopefully. And let's see what happens. But that's it really. I'm excited. Well, maybe we'll get some extended reveals of gameplay for at Gamescom. But anything. I think so. Low expectations, so it's good.
Typically, Gamescom isn't like a really report-heavy event for me. And there's been a couple times where I've went all the way through and watched everything and captured things and go, I'm not making a video. So we'll see. It depends on if Jeff Keighley has something great on the hour before. I know I'll get suckered and I'll sit there for 3 hours and go, oh, I'm so tired. I'm hungry. And nothing was like, it's difficult because I don't know. I just wonder how many people have already watched it. But Edwin Garcia with the $2 super thank you says Xbox needs a platinum games equivalent. I'm so iffy about that because 3 of their games are incredible and 6 of them are really bad. Sorry.
Platinum games are pretty weird anyway. But I kind of agree with the sentiment because with Xbox Game Pass, you need variety, which it does. Xbox has incredible variety of games. But the platinum game, a good platinum type game is only something platinum can make usually. Very few, like a handful, not even less than a handful can do that right. So, but in a way I agree.
I think that's what global publishing is for. Global publishing is there to work with a team like Platinum which they did before, but to partner with them and pay them to make a video game and then just cut them loose and say, all right, you're free to do whatever you do. We got your game, and move on. But they are building relations and a studio in Japan. So things are going to change. It's going to be a totally different Xbox as they get rolling. But
one thing about the Embracer thing is they acquired a Japanese developer, and then a lot of people pointed out to the notion that, well, there goes that narrative that Western outfits cannot buy a Japanese studio. So that's quite interesting. And I've said it here on the show multiple times. Watch out, Xbox will buy a Japanese studio. They take Japan seriously. In order for it to be a force, you have to buy a Japanese studio. I don't know if Platinum's the one, but they will. Because what Xbox does need in terms of breadth is JRPGs, for instance. Deliver something like Lost Odyssey 2, that will send shockwaves as well. That's a massive boom. And even though the game was criminally underrated, it still has that association and legacy of it. Lost Odyssey. Yeah.
I mean, they're working with those studios, and they're making headway there. And in Japan, Xboxes finally exists. But we didn't even talk about Kojima, like that whole mess. But I think people kind of played that out quite a bit over the past few days. As far as what I'll be doing is I'll be watching Gamescom tomorrow and taking notes, and that possibility of Lies of P, the Bloodborne style Dark Souls mature Pinocchio game, which sounds very cool. There's a slight possibility that Xbox is going to announce that in Game Pass, other than just having marketing for it. I don't know if that's truly what the leak is, but the leak that the Snitch put up was, I'm trying to button this up, but he quoted something from the game that didn't have anything to do with Game Pass, but I don't know, there was a lot of speculation going on, but as far as that being a game on Xbox, it'll exist there, but for Game Pass, I don't know. It just seems like something that, yes, and it seems like something that, Xbox's team should be looking at. We got to remedy our problem with 2022, and I just feel like they already let that ship sail. And I've heard Xbox do that before. They did it with the release of the Xbox Scorpio, guys, when they had Scalebound was being canceled and Crackdown 3 was being delayed. Xbox marketing and their strategic team said something to the effect of, let's just ride it out. Oh, well. And I hate that. I really hate that. So, but I will be covering Gamescom somehow, either by Twitter or sitting down and making a video because I was gone during last week. But I'm glad you guys were here. We had, about almost 1,800 people here that were watching the show. It was on a new format. Had some hiccups, but I think the audio came through okay.
Yeah, I think so. No one's complained about it, so sounds good.
So I guess I'll get it figured out as we go along, and I'll be doing that. And I've got Gaz's link to his channel and his Twitter if you want to go follow him. And we will get out of here. I got a couple buttons to hit to get out, so it'll always be interesting if I mess that up. But thanks for being here, guys. We'll see you next week at 5 p.m. Pacific or 8 p.m. Eastern or 1 a.m. in the UK. Gaz, say goodbye to the nice people.
Goodbye.
All right, see ya. I'm naked.
I'm naked again.